All right. Hello, everyone. Unfortunately, I decided to make this video when I have now or currently losing my voice. So I'll try to make this short and sweet. So next Tuesday, this upcoming Tuesday, we will have a lockdown drill. So I want to go over very briefly kind of what the expectations will be with lockdown procedures. So typically what happens is in the lockdown, there will be a facilities person that from our district that will enter the building in any location from the outside, from any exit or entrance. They will come in, they'll either find a student or a staff member and they'll hand a piece of paper to it and it will say, hey, I'm a gunman, or this is the scenario of the situation. And what you're expected to do, or the students are expected to do at that point in time, is make sure that you communicate with the office what is going on at that time. So if you see a individual come along that has that piece of paper and some specifics, just make sure that you read it, and you know that your first step is to look in the hallway, make sure that if there's any students in the hallway, that you get them into your classroom, and make sure that your doors are locked. You're going to then call the office and say, just want to let please make sure you're aware of the shooter or a gunman or whatever it may be, the scenario says in the building. This morning, we'll then go into a real quick announcement saying, may I have your attention, please? We're experiencing an emergency situation and we are now in full lockdown. Return to the nearest classroom or office. Ignore all alarms and bells unless otherwise advised. So that is an indication that once you hear that on the intercom, that at that point in time, as a classroom teacher, you need to make sure that there are real quickly no students in the hallway. Make sure your door is locked. Make sure that your blinds are closed. Have students in the kind of crouched position on the floor, as far away from the door as possible. Make sure also that your door window is covered as well, and make sure that the students are absolutely quiet. They will go around and jiggle the door handle just to make sure that it's locked, make sure that there's no noise coming out. Your students at all points of this lockdown drill should be quiet, silent as a mouse. So you need to have some conversations with them beforehand. Just let them be aware that this is not a situation to be too scared about, but this is how the appropriate reaction and how students should do. So make sure you find and locate an area in your classroom that the students can kind of get either underneath their desk, away from the entrance or the windows, and make sure that those are closed off as best as possible. If you have doors that lead outside of the school building, make sure you have some big pieces of paper that can cover those windows so that nobody can see in as well. So here are some information up here, kind of highlighted it as best as I could in a very quick narrative, but just want to go over these real quick. So the first piece there is just what is going to be said. The second piece there is just make sure that you look in the hallway and the bathrooms and make sure that everybody's in your area. So if you're a K2 teacher and you have the shared bathrooms, make sure they're out of that. If you have a classroom that's near a bathroom, that's universal, or a bathroom that's used multiple grade levels, just make sure that you kind of peep your head out, make sure anybody that's out there that's in there, and get them in. The next piece is just make sure your windows and doors are all locked and covered. If you don't have something to cover your classroom door, make sure you uh, finagle something. Just the bulletin paper will do as well. And we usually have those just taped to the back of the door so you can move it back and forth. Your classroom window should only be covered during the lockdown drill. So make sure that after the lockdown drill is over, you take that paper off. Make sure your students are away from windows and doors. Do a real quick account for all of your students. Make sure that you have them there as well, and that you turn off the lights, any light sources, smart panels, noises, silence all your cell phones and radios to make sure that when a person goes by, it's as quiet as possible. You want to have that impression that it's an empty classroom. So the quieter, the better. If you have any questions, please make sure that you reach out to me or Mr. Knight and we can assist. Thank you.